I watched What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, and this is what I thought. Secretary Kim is definitely a K-drama I have heard a lot about. I didn't know really any details, but I've heard good things, and I know a lot of people have watched it, so I was definitely interested and intrigued to see what this one was all about and why so many people enjoyed it. I will start with a general synopsis as always, and then I will get into more details a little bit later. So when there is some spoilers, I will let you know. So if you would like to stop at that point, you can, or if you would like to continue, you can definitely listen to me talk more in depth about the TV show. In this show, we have our two main characters, who is the vice chairman, and we also have Secretary Kim. So the vice chairman is described as narcissistic. He is very confident in himself. He thinks mostly only about himself and not anyone else, and puts his needs before everyone else. He is very particular. He is also very intelligent and has very high standards. Our other main character is Secretary Kim. She has been his secretary for the longest while. It's been with him almost since the beginning, and she knows almost everything he would need and is a great balance to his personality. And she is like his right-hand man kind of, and helps him with his daily task and anything he would need, and she is right there when he needs him. So in the show, Secretary Kim decides that she wants to quit, and she kind of gives her 2 weeks notice and says that she will help him find a new secretary because he is so particular, and she will make sure they'll find the one that will be right for him and can do all the tasks he would like. He is in utter shock when he hears this information. He was like, why would you want to quit? This is like a great job, great pay, and he doesn't understand why she want to quit this job and kind of like leave him. So he then, once he hears that she wants to quit, is kind of trying to do different things and act different ways to make her want to stay. So he does try to offer her more money and different other benefits and other things to make her want to stay, but she's like, no, I still want to quit. She wants to focus mainly on her and do her own thing, kind of figure out what she wants to do in life. She doesn't really want to be his secretary forever. She's been his secretary for so many years, climbed up with him in this corporate ladder and within the business, and she believes she is done with this time in her life and ready for a new chapter. And he was like, but why would you want to leave? And she's like, this job is so demanding. I kind of want to live my own life. I kind of want to settle down, have a family, and all these things. And that's kind of like dawned on him. He didn't realize, because of his personality, he really only thinks of himself, that she would want more than what they currently have. She would want more than just work. He didn't realize she would want a family or want to settle down or do anything like that. So that is something that caught him off guard, and he doesn't really know how to process this information. This has been such a structured relationship within his life, this work with the secretary for so long. So I don't think he's ready for this huge change within the company, and because she has been there for a while. So I don't think he's ready to even work or consider anyone else to work with. So yeah, that is the main point of this whole show about what's wrong with Secretary Kim, because why does she want to leave? What's wrong with her? So that is the main story within the show, is she's ready to quit and move on to the next, and he's trying to make her stay. And it's like, no, I need you. Like, this is the best job, best pay, and all these things. So throughout the show, they're kind of doing a little back and forth. She's like, no, I really want to leave. And he's like, I'm not going to accept your resignation. You're going to stay. Things like that. And she's like, no, I'm going to leave. I'm done. So they kind of have that throughout the show of back and forth, and who's kind of like a little who's really going to win? Like, are you really going to stay, or are you really going to quit? Things like that. But then as he does try to convince her to stay, he kind of changes his ways and tries not to be so narcissistic, and they both kind of begin to fall in love and have feelings for each other. So yes, this is a romance K-drama. So if you like romance, if you like K-dramas, check this one out. This one's good. I liked it. Okay, so that was the general plot, storyline of the show. Not giving too much away, just giving you a little taste test. So if you want to go watch it and don't want to know any of the spoilers, you can leave this video now and then come back later. If you already watched it or you don't care about the spoilers, here we go. So as I said, the vice chairman is trying to get Secretary Kim to stay. And he's like offering her all of this stuff. And she's like, no, I really want to leave. She really wants to find her own path, do her own thing. Because she kind of just got a job right out of school. And the first job and the best paying job that she could find. Her dad had been in a lot of debts and had loans. And so she has been trying to pay off that loan for a while. And now she's at that point. She had made enough money to pay off that loan. So since she doesn't have to pay it off anymore, she's like, I don't have to work at this job, so I can leave and figure out what makes me happy, what I want to do in life. But one thing that was interesting to me is that because she took on this responsibility, I expected her to be the oldest. She's actually the youngest in her family, and her older sisters were like becoming doctors and very prestigious careers. And I felt like she took that responsibility upon herself because they were in school and they were pursuing these careers, and I don't believe maybe she didn't really know what she wanted to do at that time. So she decided, okay, I'll get a good paying job to help them pay for school, to pay off my dad's loans, and then once this is done, I can do what I want to do. So that is really the reason she's leaving, because she doesn't really have to pay off debts anymore. And she doesn't tell him this at first, or tell him why she's leaving. He kind of thinks, oh, do you want more money? It's because me and the boss are unhappy. And she's like, no, I just want to quit. All these things. And so he's really trying to convince her trying to convince Secretary Kim to stay. Like I said before, they are going back and forth with her saying, no, I'm leaving, and him saying, no, you're not. And then he kind of switches up. He's like, fine, you're fine, leave then. And he pretends he doesn't need her anymore and continues with his work with the other secretary, because in this process of them hiring, she is training the new secretary to come at the speed that she is, so that it'll be a smooth transition. So he does kind of push Secretary Kim's buttons a bit and uses the new training secretary to do more of the task. It's like, oh no, you don't need to help me, Secretary Kim, I'm gonna use the other girl. And so she's kind of upset. She's like, well, I feel kind of useless. And she keeps trying to like, oh, do you need anything? Like, there's a certain point she's like, oh, do you need anything? Do you need me? He's like, no, I want the other secretary. And that does get at her a little bit, and he notices that and is so happy that she's a little bothered. But then when he hears that she wants to have a family, she wants to get married, and she wants to settle down, that's the main reason she is leaving, he's like, okay, well, let's get married. Like, just out of the blue type of proposal. And she was like, what? No, that's not what I want to do. But he's trying to convince her, like, no, we can get married and we can like be together and things like that. So at first I don't believe he thinks of it as a romantic, but as the show kind of goes on, you see he does have feelings for her. That is one reason he doesn't want her to leave. Like, he's used to her there, and I think if she never quit, he would be fine with a companionship with her for the rest of his life. But because she wanted to quit, he was forced to take a look at his true feelings for her. And I think that because of that is why they got together. So he tries to convince her. He does wine and dine her and do all certain types of things to make her happy and try to convince her to stay, or try to convince her like, oh, if we're like together, then it'll be fine. And so when he's doing that, she does begin to have feelings for him. And as he's doing this more, he's really realizing how much he actually does care for her. He gets jealous when any other guys are around her or near her, and she starts to want to be with him more. So it's really cute to see like how he kind of starts out just like, he does kind of start out like, oh, she'll be lucky to be with me, like I'm the prize, because he's so narcissistic. He thinks he's like the top dog and every woman wants to be with him. But then as he starts acting more genuine towards her, when he starts putting her before himself, he realizes his feelings are more than that. And he's still a bit, narcissistic, but it does melt away a bit when he's with her. So I think that was super duper cute. But let's get into the family drama. There is a whole other side of family drama, like a whole other part of this show that I was not expecting. He is estranged from his brother, kind of. He doesn't really talk to him. They're not on good terms. His mother and father, he does talk to, and he does visit them. He's the son, and he runs the company. but his brother, they do not get on good terms. And his brother does talk to his parents, but he does not talk to him. So when his brother comes back into town, it turns out he's a very famous author who is also an author that Secretary Kim loves. But no one knows the real identity of this author except his family. So Vice Chairman knows. But Secretary Kim has no idea that he is this famous author. The Vice Chairman and their company, they're throwing this event in this building. They have a library and they want a famous author in the library. And so Secretary Kim's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get this famous author that no one knows about, and when he comes to our event, it'll be great publicity because he's gonna finally reveal himself. So that does put the brothers kind of against each other because they both are kind of falling for Secretary Kim because she's getting to know both of them. And when the Vice Chairman finds out that she's been meeting with him and he's been meeting with her, he's upset because he does not like his brother and he does not want his brother to be around her. But when we realize where all this hatred and where all this stems from, it turns out the brother, when they were really younger, the brother was kidnapped, or so he thinks. So the brother, who's the author, thinks he was kidnapped and held hostage for a couple days, and then he showed up at the police station and after his kidnapping, after he was able to get away. It also turns out that Secretary Kim, when she was younger, she was also held hostage, not as many days as him, but was also in that same thing. And they knew each other when they were little before. They were both held in the same place, and then they were able to get out, and he took her home and then went to the police station. So that is one reason the brother is kind of into her, because he's like, oh, we were both in the same situation. This is someone from my childhood that knew the same thing. And so she's having these she kind of has small snippets of memories of what happened in flashbacks, but the brother has no recollection, no memory of anything that happened, and he was slightly older than her. And so she's like, that's kind of weird. And then there's certain things about Vice Chairman. He's scared of things, and it seems like he remembers, but not his brother, which is a little weird. So comes to find out that it was actually Vice Chairman who was kidnapped, not the brother. It turns out his older brother, who thought he was kidnapped, left him in that neighborhood, and that is why he was kidnapped and held in this place for a couple days. And so when his brother saw the place he was held and found out what happened, this is when they were younger, found out what happened and this was his fault, he kind of went, he didn't go crazy, but he kind of went into a state of, he was so guilty that he thought he brought all the trauma that his brother said that his brother had on himself. I don't want to say became his brother, but he kind of did. When he felt so guilty, he took all this guilt on, and he was like, I was kidnapped, I was this, I was that, telling the stories his brother had told him. And when Vice Chairman, when they were younger, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, you're the reason I was in there, you were the reason I got kidnapped and all this stuff. So he kind of took all of the story that his brother told him and made himself the victim and the one that was kidnapped. And he would not believe anyone when they said that, no, it wasn't you, it was actually your brother. And they're like, no, you're lying to me, I know this is true. So the parents kind of went with it. So the Vice Chairman, when he was younger, he pretended to lose his memory and it's like, oh, I don't remember being kidnapped. And so the parents went with it, and they let the brother believe that he had been kidnapped, and they let Vice Chairman believe that he was the one that got him kidnapped. So they switched their stories, which when I heard that, I was like, that is the most sad thing I've ever heard. And they really thought they were doing good because they thought their son forgot that he was kidnapped and he wouldn't have any of the memories, but he remembered the whole thing. He still had nightmares growing up, and it was just really sad that he had to bear all that pain and trauma on his own because his brother went through some type of psychological thing thinking that he was kidnapped because he felt so much guilt, which I thought was crazy. Your brother really was the one kidnapped, and he can't even go through the process and get the help he needs because you're blaming him for being kidnapped when you really weren't. So that was one thing that I did not see coming. That was something that was so sad. So yeah, that was a huge, major plot twist. I was like, this is crazy and so sad. And it was even sadder that his parents kind of were a part of that, and he never told them. It was just really sad that his parents were a part of that, and they thought that was the only thing they could do to kind of make their family somewhat normal again. So that is the family drama within the show, and it was just crazy. But overall, the romance is great between these two. I love how Secretary Kim balances the vice chairman out. She like kind of puts him in his place a lot and is like, dude, you need to calm down, not talk about yourself. And she's also there for him when he's having his bad moments, when he's like when he's having his nightmares or when he is traumatized, and she is there for him. And then she finds out that he was the one that was with him, and they find out they knew each other when they were little, and that is also a very sweet moment in the TV show as well. So I'm gonna give 3.5, but on the higher end of 3.5. This is definitely a really good romance. I know when I watched it, I was kind of like in a funk, and I was like not feeling my best, and I just needed something light to watch, and this was the perfect romance for me to watch. I really enjoyed it. So again, if you're like romance, I would definitely check this one out. This is a great TV show to watch. A lot of people watched it and a lot of people liked it, so I would definitely recommend it for someone. If you are interested in watching it, it's on Hulu, and it's only one season, so it's also a pretty short watch. Every episode is about an hour, so it might take more than one day. It take about a weekend, maybe like Friday to Sunday, for you to watch this and go through the whole show, but I think it's definitely worth it. If you have seen What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, what did you think? Did you really like it? What did you think about the drama and that twist about the brothers? Did you see that coming? Like, I think you kind of knew what was going to happen, but like seeing how they explain it, how it actually happened, was something that was like, wow, this is just, did not expect that. Also, I'm going to link my blog below if you want to check out some more TV content. But thanks again, guys, for listening. Please let me know your thoughts below, or any other recommendations for some K-dramas. I have a lot, but yeah, if you guys have any good ones, especially romance, let me know. And as always, thanks for listening. Bye.